1989, 1990, 1991, and 1992. So 1989. So I want to calculate the age for these people. So ages will be for, so in return I want this, right? So calculated should be, calculated should be 2023 minus 2023 minus 1989, which will be 34, and 33, then 32, then 31, right? I want this to be my output, okay? So 34, 33, 32, 31, this to be my output. So let's say, for example, the age is equal to this blank. So I have taken one blank list for this, right? So I have to look through this list. So for atom in birth year, and if I just print atom, I will be getting all the elements of that list. If I right click and run this, see, I'm getting all the elements. 1989, 1990, 1991. But I want it to be subtracted with 2023 to get the age, right? If I run this, I will be getting the calculated age for respective birth year. But I want this output not in, like, not to be printed in one after another. I want this complete output to be a part of this, what you can say, list. Okay. I want this complete output to be in a list. So for this, what we can do, we can simply, whatever this expression returns, I can append that to this list. So I will say ages dot append, and whatever it returns. So I'm basically this, and I will comment this for now. And if you just print the blank array afterwards, ages, and if you right click and run this, so you will get it 34, 33, 32, 31. Is this fine? So this is the first problem. Now this can be achieved. See, now here, if you understood, we are basically performing action, or we are basically calculating something on every element of array. So when I say on every element of array, we are doing certain kind of operations, right? So such operations can be performed with the map function. So map function helps us here. Okay. So there is a function which is map here. The function is map. Now first you write a function which you want to be executed with every element of this array. So let's say, now the another way of doing this will be program 3. So I'm coming here, let's say, what I'm doing here, I'm creating a expression. So the expression is what? The expression is somewhat like this. So let's say age equal to lambda, whatever the value I have received, I have to minus that value with 2023. So this is the expression. Now this expression you want to run with every element of this list, right? So what you will do, you will say map. What you want to, so you want to basically run this expression, which is age expression, with every element of what? Every element of list. And what is my list name? List name is birth year. So this is the inbuilt function map. I want this expression to be running with every element of this list. And at the last, I want the output as list only, right? And I just store that into a variable. Let's say I store into a variable, which is, let's say, q ages again, and I print it. I print ages again. So if I right click and run this, see, same output, but this time we achieved it with the map. So map performs action, or map do calculation with every element of list. Okay, this is the first thing you should be knowing, that this map performs the action with every element of list. Okay, and now what action it is performing? This map function is calling this age function with every element, and this age function is returning me 2023. So this list element will be going into X. It will return me 2023 minus 1989, and this map function at the last returns me a list where this function is executed with every element of the list. Let's take another example for this. So it reduces the code, it reduces your code also. Let's say, for example, so another way of writing this would be, instead of writing this in separate, I can write also like this also. It will be very handy. See, list map. I can directly write my lambda function. What is my lambda function? This anonymous function, and it has to be executed with what list? Directly worth list. That's it. And whatever it returns, you store into, let's say B. You print B. This way also you can achieve this. Right click, run. See, same result. That's it. That we have here is I have suppose numbers here few, and let's say to every element of this list I want to add 10. So I want this as output. So 21, then 32, then 43, then 54, and then 63. This has output. So to every element of this, I want to add what? 10. Okay. So how I can achieve this operation? To every element of list, I want this to be added. What? 10 to be added. So we can achieve this with the map. Okay. For example, how will you achieve this with the map? So you first write a lambda expression, you can directly write in the map also. So this is the expression you want to run. What? Lambda will receive one value, and every value you need to return with adding 10 on it. And this expression has to be run with every element of numbers list. So here, what you are doing, you are saying numbers. Right? And then the next step would be just store that into this numbers. So lambda x, or you can store that into another variable, also not a problem. But first, it will return your object which we need to convert to the list. So wrap it around the list. Now every element of this list, which is numbers list, we'll have to go through this expression, and whatever it returns, I am storing it into a variable C. Now it returns me a list where if you print C, if you right click and run, you will see every element. Mhm. Something missed like, oh, map got deleted. Map, right? See, every element we added 10. This is the output. So one line you can achieve the same. Okay. So map function, when you will be using the map function, when you want to work around with every element of list. Now there is another function, okay, which is filter function. So I will write you the first conventional way of doing with the filter, like how conventionally you can work around with the filters. Okay. So let's say for example, so you have here is now filter function. Let's say I have the list. I have marks with me, and here I don't want every element to be printed. I just want elements which are greater than 50. Okay. So I want to filter out the elements which are greater than 50. So greater than 50 would be, in this case, it will be 55, 77, 53, and 52. Right. So these are the elements which are basically greater than 50. Okay. So I want to filter out this from the above list. So conventional way of doing this would be for atom in list name. So I will say I have to define one above 50 list, right? So I will say above 50. I have to define one list, blank list, and then I will look through this. So how will I look through this? For atom in marks, print atom. If I just print atom, I will be getting every element of list. If I right click and run this, see I'm getting every element of list 52. So starting from 77 to 52, but I don't want this. I just want the elements which are above 50. So what I will be doing here, I will say if above 50, oh no, sorry, if atom is greater than 50, then what I need to do, in this blank list, I want to append the same atom. So if I print out outside now, at last I will be getting only those elements. Okay. At last I will be getting only those elements where the value is greater than 50. So if I right click and run this, you see, only those values. Oh, sorry, not this. I want to print the list, right? So we are putting the value into the list. If I run this, I will be only getting the values which are greater than 50, which was the expected. Now this similar functionality here, see, you need to understand this, where to use map and where to use filter. Map will be used when you want to work with every element of list. Filter you will be using when you want to reduce the elements based on the certain conditions, right? Here, what was the condition to reduce? Here, the condition was that you should be only having the values which are greater than 50. This same thing can be achieved with the filter function also. So first you will be writing the lambda function. What is the expectation with the lambda function? That it should return only those values where x value is greater than 50. This expression you want to run, right? This expression I am storing into a variable, let's say q2 or let's say d. I want this expression to be run with every element of list. What is my list? Let's say this is my list, right? So I copy and I pasted it here. Okay. So first, this is my list. I want this list. Every element of list have to go through this expression. So what I will do, I will say filter. It's an inbuilt method here. I want this expression, so D to be executed with every element of marks. And it will return me the list. Which list? Where the condition is true. Okay, so which condition is true? Where x is greater than 50. So it will return the elements 50, 77, 53, and 52 into one new list. And if I print it, you will get it. I click run. See, this is the old way of doing this with the for loop. This is with the lambda function. You can get the results in one line also, right? So another way of writing this effectively would be with list. I want list as output with filtering what? With filtering with this expression on what? On every element of the list. What is the list name? List name is marks. And whatever it returns, you can also store that into another variable, or f you can store, and the same will be the output. Print f. And if I right click and run, same will be the output. Is this fine? Let's say program 6. I will be taking one more example for the filter. Let's say I have few names with me. Just give me a second. So let's say I have few names with me. I have a list of names. I have a list of names. So let's name equal to, let's say, Chinmay, Ram, Sham, Satish, Satish, Ganesh, Shraddha. And I want to filter out only those names where the name starts with S. So I want to filter out this, right? So I want Sham, output like Sham. Then I want output Satish, Shraddha, Shraddha. I want this output. Sham, Satish, and Shraddha. So I need to write one expression first. So let's say expression, I store it in, so here I say lambda. And what is the expression x? And here I want this x, the element to be starts with the method on the string, right? Starts with s. So now this expression will be should be running with every element of this list. If this condition is found true, that will be going into the new list. So filter. What I want to filter? I want to filter this expression. I want this expression to be running on every element of this list names. Whatever it returns, I have to convert that into one list. And that list will only be having those elements where the name starts with S. So if I say I store it into G and I print it, I will be only getting those elements where it starts with is not the method, or maybe typo. See, I'm only getting those elements where it starts with S. So this way you can filter out the elements of the list. Is this fine?
Yes.
And then let's say we move to another another important method, which is reduce. Okay. So let's say I have a list with me. Let's say numbers. And numbers are 11, 22, and 32. And what I need to do, I need to loop with this. Okay. So you need to loop through it and add all the elements of this list. Okay. So how will you add all the elements? So it's simple. If you have to do it with the for loop, you will be doing something like this: total equal to 0. Also, this functional based approach, whatever you are doing with Lambda and filter, are fast as compared to the conventional looping, right? So these are heavily used. Okay. So if you want to do it with the old way, what you will be doing? You select, for example, number equal to 11, 20, 33, total equal to 0. Okay. So here, in this case, what can be done? So you can say for atom in list, what is the list name? Numbers. And you say total equal to total plus total plus atom. Okay. And if let's say if you say print atom, and you rightly can run this. So it's a 33, right? Because it should not be 33. Ln plus 22, 33, 33 plus 33, 66. For atom in numbers, total equal to total plus atom. Print total, it should be not atom. Right? So total should be 66. Now this same thing can be achieved with a reduce function. There is another function such as map filter. There is a reduce function also. Okay. So for reduce function, I think so you need to import the function. This should be ready. Okay. So now same functionality with reduce, how can you achieve, right? So you have reduce. I don't remember exact syntax. Give me a minute. How you achieve this with the reduce? Reduce in Python. The function lambda a plus b on the list. That's fine. Yeah. Same. Um, default value. That's fine. See, this is only the case lambda x comma y x plus y. So first element will be x plus y will be next element. I'm not sure on this. Just wait a minute. So this is accumulator. First is accumulator. That's fine. And how can you set the default value for the accumulator? That is the case, which is the third parameter. Okay. So this is the scenario. Yeah. So this is the syntax. So what I need to do with the same, with the reduce, I need to achieve the same, right? I want to add every element of this array. So how can you do this? You can do this using reduce function. So reduce. So reduce also takes what? Reduce will be also taking lambda function. So what this lambda function is doing? So it's a lambda. So it will have one accumulator and the another will be the elements of the list. The element of the list, what is my list name? List name is numbers, right? So let's say here will be numbers from the numbers list. And what I need to do from here, I need to return accumulator plus number. So this will be my return type. So this is the parameters I am receiving. And what I need to do with this accumulator, this accumulator basically is this total equal to 0. So here I am setting the value. So this total is accumulator here in this expression. And this will be one after one values from the numbers list, which will be from here. So numbers list will first have 11 and then. So I have to call this reduce on which list, which is numbers. So I am basically passing numbers to it. Okay. So this lambda expression which have two parameter. First will be accumulator, second will be number. I'm adding accumulator to number. But here I have set the default value for the total to be 0. Same, I can basically give here the value 0. This 0 value will be going into this accumulator. So when this function will be running for the first time, accumulator will be 0 and number will be 11. And what I am returning from here, 0 plus 11. 0 plus 11 will be the new value for the accumulator. So new value for the accumulator will be 11. Next time this function is called, Calculator is already 11. Number will be 22. So 11 plus 22. It will be then 33. And then it will be called for the third time. When you call this for the third time, calculator will be already 33 and number will be calculator will be 33 and number will be what? Number will be 33. So 33 to 33, 66. So here it is 66. Okay. This way we can achieve the same thing what we have done with the for loop using the reduce method. If you print it now, if syntax is correct, I think you will get the result. So here, import reduce. I think so. And inputs, import star. Okay. Now it is successfully imported from functions. You want to import every function. You can also write single function which is reduce. Let's say we import all in this case. So we have to discuss on this topic also how to basically import and work around with the models. Okay. So this expression now will basically give the same result as this for loop. So if you right click and run, see 66 only. So if I set the default value of calculator to be 5, then what will be the output? 71, right? 66 will be for this, and the default value was not 0, it was 5. That's why it will be 71. Clear? These three methods, very important methods. You'll be using this quite often. Map, filter, and reduce. Clear? Okay. So let's write few more programs about the functions only. Yeah. So this will be program number 8. This will be program number 8. So how will we, let's say for example, default parameters. Let's say for example, I'm writing a function where it's a addition, and addition I am passing x comma y, and I say return x plus y, return x plus y. I call the function addition. So I pass 12 comma 4. So this 12 is going into where? X. This 4 is going into y. It will return me 12 plus 4. I store it into a variable. And the variable is, let's say I define the variable to be Q3, E3, and I print it. If I run this, I will get 16. That's fine. Okay. Not a problem. But if I call the function without, let's say, I call the function, but when I'm calling this function, I'm calling it without sending the arguments. So now this value will be none. And when you add none with none, I think it will return you not a number. Let's check. Okay. Let's check E2 because I have not sent any values here. So if I run this, it will give me the error say missing two positional arguments, right? So I need to pass it. So if you want to avoid this, then you should be having the default values. That if the values are not passed, you can have default values. So how you basically have default values? So you can simply say x equal to 1 and y equal to 1. So if the values are not passed from behind, like if the values are not passed while calling the function, the value for this x and y will be taken as default 1, 1. So now E2 value will be 2. But if you pass the values, then it will not consider the default values. Instead, it will take the actual values, whatever you have passed. So save, right click and run. Is this fine? So this way you can basically send the default values. Then let's say for example, I have another info method. I have the method with name info, let's say, and with the name, with this method, I have birth year and age. Uh, Birth year and current year. Current year. I am returning here current year minus birth year. Few times what happens when you're basically calling the function, you're not well aware of which parameter to pass here. Let's say my past year is 1989 or I passed 2023 and here I am passing current year as 1989. Now this causes the problem, right? Because birth year is what? Birth year is 2000, birth year should be 1989 and current year should be 2023. So here this value will be going into here and this value will be going into here, which is a problem. So you can specify also. You can say birth year equal to, while passing the value to a function, you can specify which value belongs to which. Let's say, for example, you can pass birth year is equal to 2020, 1999, 1989, and current year is 2023. Now it does not, like, it will not matter whether you are sending this first or this first. You can send current year also, and you can basically send birth year also, which is 1989. That will be going into respective position only. This current year value, which is 2023, will be going to here, and this birth year value will be going into this 1989. And if you just store it into a variable again, which is E1, and if I print E1, you'll be getting the same results. So right click and run. See, 34, same results. Right? So this way, while calling the function, whatever are the parameter sequence, you can specify the value for the respective parameter, and you should not be worried about the sequence. This much is also clear. Default value and the sequence. So for example, this is the program 10th. Now what happens sometimes, let's say we writing here a function which is, let's say, addition, and I'm not aware that how many values will be passed from below, right? But I want to add all the elements. Let's say, for example, if I am writing pass here now, just for now, just, and let's say I want to add everything. So I call this addition function and I'm passing many parameters to this. So I know how, I'm not aware that how many values will be passed from to this function. Now adding this much value, it is not possible to basically have the names like this here. Okay. So I have to collect all this into one list. And that how can I do? I can do that with args argument. So asterisk args. The name can be anything. Okay. It can be X also, not a problem. But for now, the conventional way they use is args, right? Now, if you print this args, all these elements will be collected into one list, which is args. If you right click and run this, sorry, not list, it's a tuple. So all these elements will be received into one memory, which is args, and which is nothing but the tuple. And you know how to look through the tuple and get the sum. So this is the tuple. I can easily look through the tuple and get the sum of all elements passed. So if you say total equal to 0, and you can simply say for atom, in tuple, what is the tuple name? Tuple name is args, and I just want to print, or I just want to add total equal to total plus total equal to total plus atom. And from the above function, I want to return the total only. Whatever it returns, I have to store that into a variable which I am saying is j, let's say. And if I print a j, if I right click and run this, all the elements will be added 8, 1, 10. All the sum of these elements will be 8, 1, 10. So what is the takeaway from this? If you're not sure how many arguments or values will be passed from the while calling the function, you can collect them all into one tuple with this awk symbol. Is this fine?
Yes.
And let's have this last program. Okay. I can also correct that as, let's say, as key value pair, let's say info 2, and here I say asterisk asterisk, the conventional name is Cox. You can write any variable name, that is fine. But if you print it, you will be receiving everything into a dictionary format. So I'm just printing this. So here, if I say calling info 2, I can also mention dictionary and value. So what I can pass? I can pass like this. First name. Oh, sorry, not like this. I can pass first name equal to Chinmay. Last name equal to Deshpande. Age equal to 20. Now everything will be going into this. So every of this thing will be going into this box as a dictionary. So if you print, I'm printing this. If you right click and run this, you see it will be received in the form of a dictionary. And then obviously whatever the operation you want to perform with the dictionary, you can perform. Let's say if you want to add city, so you'll say box.city equal to Pune. And then you can return the particular city from there. So you can say return box. Whatever you returns will be stored into one variable. That's say. And if you print E again, you will be getting a dictionary, but with additional value. Apart from first name, last name, and age, which will be Pune. See, city equal to Pune. Yeah. So next topic we'll be taking will be decorators. Very important again. Decorators and generators. So short topic, but very important. And then we can keep the regular expression for now. And we'll start with the Django. Regular expression is remaining, but we'll start with the Django. So tomorrow maybe we'll be going with decorators and generators, and then we'll start with Django. Regular expression we'll keep it for the last. Okay. So this whatever I taught today is important. Please go through this. When you're writing the code, basically these are frequently used. Is this fine?